Hello, boys. This is Cybertron John, and well, Transformers Netflix Kingdom has finally aired on Netflix. I have to say, it actually surprised me quite a bit. It was quite interesting, actually. We got to see a little bit more from some of the other characters who were in the previous Siege and Earthrise, where we weren't able to see them. We didn't really see him very much. So we got a bit more dialogue from them. Okay, let's start with the plot. The plot is... it's alright. I have to say it got a little bit better towards the end, though. First of all, let me just say there might be spoilers, so go and watch the Netflix Transformers Kingdom first, and then come and watch this. Okay, so basic summary. This is all about what they were doing in Earthrise, going to find the Allspark. Obviously, Earthrise was about their journey to prehistoric Earth to find out where the Allspark is located, and now they've crash landed on Earth, and they are gonna go and find the Allspark. But obviously, they come into some challenges within all that. So at the end of Earthrise, we did see a brief little cutscene at the end where Dinobot has found the crash landed Ark, and obviously this means the Predacons and Maximals have been alerted to the fact that something has happened. So the Predacons have gone over towards the Nemesis, and the Maximals have gone over towards the Ark, and we see the encounter of the Maximals and the Autobots. Actually, quite interesting. They didn't really trust the Autobots, but yet again, I mean, they have no idea who they are, so they can't really trust anyone. But they do eventually work together to go and find out where the Allspark is. But obviously the Predacons come into... they work together with the Decepticons to try and stop the Maximals and the Autobots from getting the Allspark. They do eventually win, the Maximals and the Autobots, and they do return home to take the Allspark to Cybertron. That's basically the plot, really. Trying to give away as little as possible, really trying. So, some of the key features that we got were actually, we had some nice little Easter eggs from Beast Wars. Spoiler alert again. There is a death scene, but actually got my nostalgia kicking in with Beast Wars because we had a similar death scene to do with the same character, Beast Wars Dinobot. Yes, Beast Wars Dinobot unfortunately dies in this Kingdom TV series, trying to give the Matrix back to Optimus Prime. In terms of Dinobot, he stayed pretty true to what the character was. There were certain quotes that were said by him in the original Beast Wars series, like the "I still have my honor." Let's talk about the voice acting. I'm pretty okay with what the voice actors are now for... I mean, I'm not blaming anyone for the fact that they've done a rubbish job. I don't blame the voice actors either, but I'm pretty okay with how Optimus Prime and Megatron sound. I mean... I just think it's a Beast Wars cast that should have had a bit of shifting, really. because obviously it just shows that Netflix don't have a very big understanding of what the whole Beast Wars concept is. But from this cartoon, it shows that they do have a bit of an understanding of it, but just not as much as some of us fans of the Beast Wars would want a taste of, really. So, obviously, Beast Wars and Megatron's voice, terrible. Just sounded terrible. I think people would have better thought that we should have had David Kaye again reprise his role of Beast Wars Megatron, and therefore we should have had Gary Chuck reprise his role as Optimus Primal. And honestly, I would have also liked to have seen Scott McNeil reprise his role as Rat Trap and Dinobot, just to try and add a bit more to both of those characters. I mean, Rat Trap didn't get that much dialogue, really. Still, even though he got dialogue, I would have still liked it to have been done in, well, Rat Trap's voice by Scott McNeil. There were some interesting things that actually happened during the series. For one, we got a better understanding of of what happened within the Dead universe. With Earthrise, it was very, very confusing thing for me with the Dead universe stuff. It was quite confusing for me to wrap my head around, and then apparently it's the only way that Galvatron can actually communicate with Megatron to try and change his future. So then he does not become Galvatron, which this is what Galvatron is still doing. He's trying to pave the path for him to take the Matrix to lead him to the Allspark and use the Allspark to destroy Unicron. And speaking of Unicron does get a bit more dialogue. He didn't get that much dialogue from Earthrise. I just made a guest appearance, really. But Unicron does take a bit of an important role in this towards the end of the last episode. Well, first of all, let's talk about Tigatron and Airazor. So they decided to keep in the fact that Tigatron and Airazor's relationship. They decided to keep that within Beast Wars. We only really saw something to do with it once after Airazor was rescued from the Nemesis. We saw Tigatron and Airazor hug. That's probably the only. That was like the only thing that we saw to do with that. Would have liked to have seen a little bit more to do with it. But I guess that's what we got. And then the surprising one for me was when, the Ark had transformed into the Ark Titan. Apparently this was a schematic that Taltram 1 was working on, and the Dead Universe from Earthrise opened him up to quite a few possibilities. Hence the reason why he's able to transform now, because that was a schematic that the Dead Universe showed Taltram 1, and he was working on allowing the Ark to be able to transform for some reason. But it worked out. It was perfect timing. But as he is, as Taltram 1 is grounding the Nemesis, let's say, Black Arachnia is, Black Arachnia falls from the Nemesis, and Airazor saves her in midair. And then I found, as I said, this was surprising for me, and I wonder if they're gonna do a little bit more to do with this. But Black Arachnia kissed air razor on the cheek after saying, "My hero." That was quite surprising, and I was as surprised as air razor's expression, or a surprised expression on her face after that happened as well. So, yeah, I wonder if we could see a bit more to do with whatever that happens to be. That could be another relationship thing, or perhaps it's just a one-off thing. I don't know. But I'd like to see a little bit more to do with that type of concept in the future, possibly. The episode, it didn't start off, it started off okay, but then as it got further and further towards the end, it just created that build-up. It got better and better, and then, well, better still, really. The finale, the Autobots, and the Decepticons, Predacons, and the Maximals have returned to Cybertron. And Cybertron is in endless winter as a dead planet, unfortunately, without its life to thrive. And, well, we see a lot of this young leader stuff from Optimus Prime, and the fact that he doubts himself a lot for the destruction of his homeworld, for, well, throwing the Allspark off-world to create this make this dead Cybertron, and Bumblebee, we know that Bumblebee in Siege was given the Alpha Trion Protocol, but he still feels that it's his job to help carry the burden which Optimus Prime has as the leader of the Autobots for the choices that he has made. So they both go and travel to Iacon to return the Allspark to its rightful place. But they are met by Optimus Prime's nemesis, and well, there is a hint at the beginning. Optimus Primal says nemesis, and Optimus Prime has no idea why he says nemesis, but we then see that Nemesis Prime is waiting for them at the place where the Allspark can be returned to Cybertron, and Cybertron can then thrive again. So, whilst they're having that standoff, going back to the arc, we see that Galvatron has freed himself from Unicron once again, and Megatron is then freed from his stasis, and Galvatron and Megatron go to stop, well, Galvatron's future from happening for Megatron, and they go to join Nemesis Prime, whilst they're also, well, after they fended off against the Autobots and the Maximals to escape the Ark. As Nemesis Prime and Galvatron, they are both Optimus Prime and Megatron in this case, but they're the future versions of themselves, which is quite interesting. Bumblebee is given the Allspark by Optimus Prime, and he goes to return the Allspark to Cybertron, whilst Optimus Prime has to fight off Nemesis Prime and Galvatron, and also persuade Megatron to join them and stop Galvatron. Starscream actually has a bit of a role in this as well. He happens to... So, Galvatron ended up giving, he showed Megatron the golden disc before he had to return from the dead universe to his universe, to Unicron. And the golden disc was given to Beastor's Megatron. And so Megatron has the golden disc for majority of the Kingdom series. But Starscream does steal it from him with the help of Black Arachnia. They both join forces, and Starscream eventually takes a look inside the golden disc, but he becomes slightly, he becomes different. He's a bit more paranoid about the future events than what everybody else happens to be, as he's worked out from the golden disc that Megatron's future is to become Galvatron and serve Unicron. And he wants peace, basically, now. At the end of the final episode, he asks Megatron to join them, briefly join them, to stop the events from happening. Optimus Prime and Megatron both agree on something at the end, and the Decepticons walk away from this statue. And the statue actually is, you got Refractor one side, and you've got the Cog clones the other side. So I'm assuming that is supposed to be the unification statue of Autobots and Decepticons for peace. But what happens at the end? Unicron finds that Galvatron and Nemesis Prime has failed. And, it seems to be that he has to reformat them once again. It seems, but we don't see any more after that. That's the end of the final episode. That is the closing curtain, but bit of a cliffhanger. But I have to say, this was the better series of all three, and I don't know whether there's gonna be a continuation or not. It'd be a bit weird for them to just leave it like that, but this is the end of the trilogy, so I know that they're gonna reset it now for the Generations toy line that's happening next. This has been Cybertron John with a Transformers Kingdom, Short Kingdom review. Peace out. Oh,